This video is going to show you how to set up the simulation for world history, the last set of content for World War I dealing with diplomacy. So in the world history folder, in Unit 3, Standard 18.3, there should be a folder in there titled Treaty of Versailles. There's multiple things that you'll want to have available as you have the students compete in this activity. So 4th hour, 8th hour won't be too hard, but 5th and 7th, because of class sizes, it's going to be a little difficult. But try to equally separate the the students into 3 different groups. They're going to have to be delegates for the 3 countries of Great Britain, France, and the United States. You can randomly do it if you want to try to pick and choose teams just to ensure that it's a little bit equal. Totally up to you. On this paper here, you'll notice the papers that you're going to need to have printed off. The first page is the agenda. This is something that needs to be given to every student that tells them this negotiation of what to do with Germany. These are the things we're going to talk about. The next pages are the briefing sheets for each of the countries. So you'll have France, Great Britain, and the United States. So what I usually do is I print each of the countries on different colors. And so on one side will be the agenda. On the back side would be the briefing sheet for the people who are representing France. Maybe I'll print that on blue. And then on yellow, I'll do the front would be the agenda. The back side would be America. The biggest thing is that delegates from other countries cannot know the information on each other's sheets because it kind of totally ruins the negotiating aspect. So France can't know what Great Britain and the US says and vice versa. So as you take a look at the agenda, these are the things that need to be voted and decided on. And it needs to be unanimous. All 3 countries have to agree. And so it's kind of a little bit of a game for the students of trying to figure out how do I negotiate for the things that we want. If you notice, and you're going to want to read through this a little bit yourself, if things are decided certain ways, it might cause a country to win points or lose points. So in this first guilt clause of Germany is responsible for all damages, France wants the decision to be yes, because they would gain 5 points. Now, if other countries want to say no, France needs to then incorporate ways to get a yes vote. So they might say, hey, if you guys agree to vote yes, we'll give you czar to France for a year, something like that. So it's kind of a give and take that the kids need to do. So the hardest part for you as this is going on is keeping track of everything. So I'll kind of show you that here in a moment. I give each student in class, again, the agenda, and then depending on their country, they have their briefing sheet. I usually give them maybe half a period to a full 42-minute period to go through and read and figure out what do they want and what do they not want, so that when negotiations start, they are fully prepared. You can kind of make a decision too on representatives. I tell students that everybody has to come to the middle negotiating table at some point. That's where one person from each country will kind of say what the country wishes, because otherwise you have 20-some voices yelling at each other and it's hard to keep track of. So that's kind of up to you also. In that folder, you will also notice there is a slideshow labeled maps. And so there's some clarifications on there that you might want to go over with the students before the discussions actually begin. And as that loads up. So under the territory, there's different parts of what was formerly France that was taken from them that they might want a visual of. So I usually pull that up as a way to show students, hey, this is where the Rhineland is, this is where Alsace-Lorraine is, and then this is where the little area of Saar was. Just, again, as a visual. Also in that folder, you will see Treaty of Versailles comparison. So this is what was actually decided when the delegates from those countries sat down to decide what to do with Germany. And so I have it hidden just as a way to give them some suspense. So if you actually unbold or paint that out. It'll show the kids, hey, this was actually decided, so they can kind of just see where they actually were. Last year, I created a spreadsheet as a way to keep track of what is being discussed and what points are being awarded. And so I'm going to leave the 2018 copy in there for you as a comparison, but I will create a new one for you in the folder that you can input with new information. And so if you take a look, over here is where I keep track of the discussion. So eventually it should all match up. But as discussions are taking place, maybe the first thing is, do we blame Germany? France says yes, Great Britain says yes, US says no. And then as numbers are starting to come in, maybe France is saying 85,000, that sort of thing. This is what I have projected for the students also so they can see. And this is going to take a couple days. So instead of writing it on the board and having to erase it every period, this might be an easy way to keep track of it for yourself. Over here is where I put the final decision. And then this is where I put the points. I'm going to leave it up to you if you project the points or not. Sometimes it's fun to keep it suspenseful and not show them, but it should be set up that if you input points, it should give them a running total at the top. So if I look at the briefing sheet, it'll say France gets 5 points for a yes here. The US loses 2 points there. So an easy way to keep track of it. And at the bottom, and it's kind of hard to see there, each class period is on there as well. So you can just have the one document up and flip class periods. If you have further questions on that, let me know. This tends to be a fun one for the kids once they get going with it. The previous simulation we did, I only allowed them to negotiate on 3 terms at a time. I'll leave that up to you if you want to say, hey, we're only going to negotiate 3 things, which means once we talk about blame of Germany, Armady, and planes, those are the only 3 things we vote on. Last year I didn't do that, and so there might be numerous things going on at one time. So it's going to be kind of up to you with what you decide to do there.